Cowardly developers double down on support for cancel campaign and find out again. To be honest, I have usually, if it's that big of a thing, I usually don't interact with it because I want to react to it, and that's what I do here as well. But let's just go what happened here again. I probably know what company it is about, but we'll see.
Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today I want to revisit the topic we covered in yesterday's video. If you want the full context leading up to this, you can check out that video. But to sum it up very quickly before we get into the updates, we had this VTuber named Kirsha, who's under attack due to...
I love this Fox woman. She's so great. She's so based. It's crazy. It gets cancelled for her normal ass takes. It's crazy. But yeah, the Vice articles are gone. There is a new Sportskeeda article that I've heard of. I haven't read it. I didn't look at it. But there's a new Sportskeeda article. Also, she got banned for a day for reading out a fan fiction, by the way. From that anal violence person. That's how bad the fan fiction was that she got banned off Twitch. Crazy.
To a life ruination campaign led by a bunch of maniacs on the internet who are trying to get her sponsors pulled. They're trying to deplatform her, and they're doing this through many slanderous tweets, even articles. They're trying to paint her as a white supremacist or a Nazi, where this is just one of many articles, but this...
Yeah, the Sportskeeda article was horrendous. They literally used a clip that immediately debunked her being a white supremacist.
This one in particular was one we talked about yesterday, where you have this very slanderous headline that, of course, is not backed up by anything. In fact, the clip they provided that was supposed to prove this statement proved the exact opposite. Again, you can check out yesterday's video for a more thorough breakdown of that. But all these articles and all these viral tweets attacking her and her career, they weren't effective. All they were generating was likes on Twitter. But unfortunately, this latest one seems like it was part of the campaign that actually got something taken away from her and had to do with this game, Crime Boss, a game that Kirsha has put...
All reviews mixed. Recent reviews mostly negative. Well, Rip Bozo, deserved. Absolutely deserved.
Put a lot of time and effort into promoting. You can see this is just a small sample of her streams involving this game. She has worked very hard as a partner of this company. I don't even believe she's paid to do this. She's just doing it because she enjoyed the game.
She is not paid to do this. She just enjoys the game, which kept the game alive.
And she wanted to share it with more people. And now, as a result of this cancellation campaign, they have silently dropped her. And of course, a lot of people are not happy, and they've been taking a lot of heat as a result of this cowardly decision. You can see now, this is the update. On day 3 of this whole thing, you can see the negative reviews. I mean, it's getting pretty insane, the amount of negative attention they have gotten as a result of this. And people look at this and just simply say, you reap what you sow. And it seems like things are not slowing down even after the first 2 days completed. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are very angry about this, and they're angry that Kirsha's been getting an insane amount of...
Yeah, obviously ref. Obviously savvy. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Support ever since she was dropped by this game. And you can see people saying the worst humans in existence are defending Kirsha and sticking their fan base on a company for dropping her. It shows how evil they truly are. And you can see I make a little cameo right here.
You made it so much worse. You made it so much worse for your side. Because people are supporting Kirsha. Even Tectone is supporting Kirsha. What are you doing? Asmongold acknowledged her. Kitsu was recently also acknowledged by Asmongold, which also helped her. It's like crazy. What is going on recently? The space is burning, but it's not.
Just found out today, I am one of the worst humans in existence, and I'm evil. It's pretty insane, the worldview of people like this who are so terminally online, that people like myself are held up on such a pedestal. You'll think I'm like some villain in an anime or something like that. I'm just a guy who saw some ridiculous cancellation campaign going on here, and I called it out and called out their very pathetic response to people trying to get Kirsha to have her partnership removed, and of course that's what they did. Yesterday I found I wasn't allowed to talk about this topic because apparently if you have a successful YouTube channel, you're not allowed to talk about this because it's beneath you, and now I'm being called one of the worst humans in existence.
Or you're not allowed to talk about it because they're never going to see it anyways, right? You shouldn't talk about things because they'll never see it anyways. Yeah, but then nothing changes.
Existence for talking about this. It's absolutely crazy. Now, of course, there's a lot of negative reviews, and I want to pick this one in particular because it sets up the rest of this video. This is the most helpful review in the last 30 days, obviously talking about this situation, saying, well, I like the game, it's like Payday, but I had a lot more fun with this, but I can't give a positive review. I found this game because of a streamer on Twitch and was glad she showed it off. Best I can tell, she is the only one that pushed this game, and that matters because the company dropped her over some online drama. I will not support a company that drops their biggest supporter over an out-of-context hit piece, not only because it is a truly dishonorable action on the developer's part, but
yeah, not just because she... Remember, they dropped her because of an article that was a full-on lie, and if they actually looked at the article, actually read the article, looked at the clip that they provided, they would know that that it was a lie. They did not do that.
But if they will drop the #1 advocate, then how long before they start changing the game to appease to the same rage posters when they dislike content already in the game? And that is a very truthful statement at the end here, talking about other aspects of the game. They are trying to appease the mob, the modern audience, whatever you want to call them. These people find everything problematic, and you fulfilled their outrage. You responded by removing her partnership. Is that where you're gonna...
I still believe that the people that crash out over this and see everything problematic are not the modern audience. The modern audience is still being made as we speak. They're trying to create it. Because every game is like this. What are you gonna play? Nothing? Just saying, the modern audience is created.
Stop? So when they start complaining about controversial aspects of your game or your team or what have you, are you also going to drop those things or change them to appease the mob? The mob, which by the way, is largely not engaging with this game despite their promises to do so. Here's an example we looked at yesterday. Base game devs who stand on business by dropping an openly bigoted white supremacist VTuber from his sponsorship. And then they, you know what? They don't even buy it. They don't even buy the game. They say all these nice words and these...
Yeah, but then they bought it because they were pushed into buying it because, you know, they want to support the game, but then they realized that Chuck Norris is in it. And then they canceled the game as well, together with Kirsche, because Chuck Norris.
Steam threads, they think they're some warrior, some champion of social justice here, but they're not actually buying the game. This is the modern audience, and these are the people that they're appealing to. Here's another one that I found today. Instant buy. Really happy to see the devs stand against VTubers in similar brain rot content. Seriously, I never understand what's the appeal of males in their 50s role-playing as Japanese little girls. How...
What? Huh? You're just a woman! What do you mean? Is bro retarded? Huh.
Original. Nice to see at least some devs still have common sense. Since Payday 3 is trash, I soon gonna look into this game. Seems fun. Edit. LMAO. So many angry VTuber simps giving me free Steam points. Ooh, edgy boy, he's getting his free Steam points. Well, unfortunately, it seems like this is the currency that's probably the most bountiful in this person's life, because you look down here, people said, buy it then, because this person still hasn't bought the game despite saying instant buy. And the response is, next month, I threw all of my money into Yakuza. if Sega at least didn't lower the cost to 45% instead of the usual 75%. So here's some life advice, I think genuine life advice here.
So instant buy, but won't buy, cause no money. I like that. What are the chances that since this is soon gonna be next month, what are the chances that he's not gonna buy it? I think 100%.
If you have to basically wait to your next paycheck in order to afford buying a video game, I don't think your time and your money is well spent using what little you have on a game you're buying out of spite of VTubers you don't like. That just seems foolish to me. I think your money is better spent elsewhere, but nobody's going to stop you from this vicious cycle of bad decisions that's clearly going on with this person. But anyways, other people have been saying that they're going to stream this game as well, saying,
Oh no. Oh no, not Niara. Not the groomer that wants to give HRT to children. Not that person. Oh no.
I know what I'll be streaming next week, which is unfortunate because a lot of these people are activists. They're very pro-LGBT, and you can see hook, line, and sinker. Unfortunately, this is going to backfire for them because Chuck Norris is a part of this game as Sheriff Norris, and he has a history of being very vocally anti-LGBT. If this was any other game, they would be trying to cancel it.
Base game, instant buy. Wait, it is Chuck Norris? Ooh. What the fuck, bro? Yeah, and yeah, Niara tried to cancel, add it to the cancellation of the game because Chuck Norris.
It for a connection to someone like Chuck Norris. You can see this article provided by Kirsha. America just found out Chuck Norris is a homophobic Trump supporter and they're not taking it well. In regards to this article, anyone who's surprised about Chuck Norris having these views, like, where have you been? Like, you were not paying attention whatsoever. And here's another article saying Chuck Norris endorses disgraced anti-LGBT extremist in Senate bid. Now, I'm not sharing this to go cancel Chuck Norris or anything like that, but clearly if these people are going to protest against a game, boycott a game because it's connected to someone like Kirsha, who they believe some bigot, wouldn't they be doing the same thing here? They're backing a game that is predicated on someone who's clearly anti-LGBT, and they are going to basically have to either be complete hypocrites and support the game, or they're going to have to back down and look very foolish. Now, of course, there's other reactions to this. This person makes a very good joke here saying,
Yeah, the joke. Oh no! The slop thickens. My cock thickens. Hi, Sway. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, they made a Rin Penrose a joke. That's interesting.
notice, due to their associations with homophobic voice actors whose views strongly conflict with my own, as well as lack of communication from the company on the issue, I have chosen to end my support with Crime Boss Game, effective immediately. Thank you for your support. Now, this is a joke that is referring to a different post made by this VTuber who made the same construct here, cutting ties with Gamer Subs, which is one of the brands that Kirsha works with, and that's...
It's just... The problem is not that she did it. She could have just said she opted Gamer Subs because she doesn't agree with what they're doing, right? She did this she did this as like virtue signaling, and I don't like that. This is not an airport. You don't need to announce that. Just drop them and move on. Another day, another nothing burger drama on the interwebs. Well, this isn't a nothing burger. This is like literally trying to take somebody's livelihood, actually. Poor Kirsha. She has been doing well.
A company that people have been hounding for weeks, if not months at this point, to drop her. They have not done so yet, and I'm glad they haven't done that because that would be absolutely ridiculous and a very bad move for them. But a lot of people are attacking this post because it has 47,000 likes, a lot of attention, and people think this is an act of virtue signaling. They won't even directly name Kirsha, even though it's extremely obvious who they're talking about. And that's their thing, right? Like, if they want to cut ties with this company, that's their decision. They can do whatever they want. But I see this as very performative, and I also think it sets up a very difficult standard for them to work with for the entirety of their career now. They basically said if someone in the company has views that strongly conflict with their own, they have to leave unless the company makes some sort of an
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. A guy who makes animations, who I'm blocked by now because I made fun of him and I said I'd buy double the amount of gamer subs. And he blocked me. He didn't like that very much. Pretty big account too. Um, I just feel like I find this just name the person, name what is wrong, but you won't do that. Because if it's not the case, then you're cooked. Kisha makes money there. Yeah, she makes money, but just imagine if they got YouTube, for example, to like if they convinced YouTube to ban her or something. Who knows? Imagine stuff like that. Then she won't be making money.
explanation. Well, good luck with that because now every single time you work with a company, people
Or Twitch, which would be yeah, Twitch would be far more easier to get permaban on because you know calling a fat bitch, a 2-week ban, endorsing terrorists, nothing happens.
can say, oh, this person who also works with the company has views that conflict with your own. Are you going to leave? I mean, even thinking about platforms, right? Both the people involved here, this VTuber and Kirsha, are both Twitch partners. Like, are you going to abandon that platform because they platform Kirsha, who has strongly different views than you? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be these people setting up these ridiculous high standards for themselves that are largely rooted in performative virtue signaling. But there was another thing going on here pointed out by
Or just imagine, right? The people saying like, "Oh, you shouldn't support this brand. They did this and that." Well, do you have a phone? Why do you have a phone? A lot of phones are made with slave labor. What about do you use TikTok? Huh. You virtue signal on TikTok on a platform that is made by the Chinese. Do you know what the Chinese do to minorities? It's like you can't really, you know, if you virtue signal, be like consistent with it. Like drop everyone that you don't agree with, and just instead of just one company. But you won't do that because money.
Kirsha. It seems like Steam is really trying to silence any support of Kirsha in the related discussion boards. And you can see on Steam, it's a mess. If you scroll through their discussion page, it's a complete mess. Pretty much everything's just warring with one another. There's a lot of people angry at the game. There's a lot of people angry at Kirsha and so on and so forth. But it seems that they're taking a side. Crime Boss is doubling down here. They are censoring the most popular threads that are supporting Kirsha. The most popular one was just simply her name, and it had a lot of support. They have since removed that. However, they removed that, but
Yeah, that's pretty much saying doubling down. That's pretty much doubling down. You support slavery book by having a phone. So true. So true. I.e. bottle caps. Does that increase your IVs in this case? Because, you know, in Pokemon, that increases your stats.
they're not removing negative posts about her, including this one that she's referencing. And we talked about earlier about the base game devs who stand on business by dropping an openly bigoted white supremacist VTuber. Yeah, exactly. They keep this up, but they keep down a positive thread about her. And there's many more where that came from, but also you can see this one is locked, where someone is asking, can someone quote Kirsha being a Nazi? And this person provides the supposed
Oh god. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I can smell it from here. That it's not gonna be a good point or good argument.
supposed proof. And this is like the best they got, where an example is Kirsha supporting Asmongold for saying that every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness.
That's not really a hot take. Not gonna lie. How does that even, what has that to do even with being a Nazi? That's not even, connection not found. They really don't know. They really don't know what that word even is. What other things do we have? Once it's realized that most trans activists are organophilic males, they are the people that went after Kirsche are. Nyara absolutely is, and anal violence absolutely is, 100%. Or ideologues pushing their ideologues here. See, because she does acknowledge multiple times that people with gender dysphoria exist. Pushing their political views with an identity shield to prevent criticism. All of the power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies make a lot more sense. I mean, Anna Valens literally has great fantasies about breeding women. What else? And yes, they use the identity as a shield. I could bring up Marina as an example. Kirsche weighing in on the Worcester MA City Council voting be a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse people, probably. Just weighing in. There's no point made here. Thank you. Kirsche dog whistling about how trans women are a threat to lesbians. Hot take. Some of them are. Because you demand to be treated like a woman and you want to date women, which does not work, because you want to change the definition of what to be a lesbian, which is pussy liking pussy, not pussy liking femcock, or whatever you want to call it. So yes, it is actually. The definition for that is somewhat strict. It's not an identity. You cannot identify as a lesbian. It's attraction, physical attraction.
This is supposed to make someone a full-fledged Nazi that should be blacklisted, deplatformed, and lose all of their sponsorships and opportunities. This is all they got. This is the best they can bring to the table. But while we're looking at the discussion board here, here's another example of a recent post that's still up saying, imagine how much of a vile human being you must be for the devs to not want to associate with you, knowing it would probably destroy their already small and niche community. Think about that. They would rather have...
The small and niche community is made up of Kirsche fans. What the fuck do you mean? You didn't even spell it correctly. As a German, I'm infuriated.
Their game be a complete failure than be anywhere related with you. LOL. I truly feel sorry for you. And to those anti-woke losers, the game was already dead before your precious weirdo advertised it. From 100 people to 400 people back to 100 people, log off. So this person's basically saying, you guys are...
Yeah, but the 100 people to 400 people can be the difference between, continuing or going end of service. What do you mean?
Bunch of losers, because this game always was bad and had no success. I don't really know if that's the route you want to go, but clearly Kirsche had a big impact on this game. It's undeniable. So many people have come forward and said, I only discovered this game because of her, and this person is fuming and saying, I stand by these devs who are literally blowing up their own game just to stand against her. These people act like these developers are some heroic set of people. No, they're the exact opposite, actually. They're cowards.
Because they're not heroes. They just aren't. They aren't. I don't consider Anna Valens to be a hero. Nobody would, and nobody should. Yeah, sure.
They gave in to the mob. They listened to a bunch of freaks from Twitter. Like, I haven't even gotten into some of the related parties trying the hardest to cancel Kirsche, whether it's the articles or the tweets.
And yes, this isn't even the good stuff. And a lot of the stuff he probably can't even show because of how gross it is. Like, the fan fiction that Kirsha read on stream got her banned. That's how bad it was. This Anna Valence person also is into farts. Like, she literally did fart ASMR on stream. Do with that what you will.
These people are some of the weirdest, most obsessed, unhealthy people you will ever encounter. Like, literally, Arkham Asylum type behavior. Like, they need to be evaluated at this point. They're so off their rocker. They're so obsessed with Kirsha, of all people in the world, and they just won't let this go no matter what. And these developers gave in to these people who have no interest in their game, by the way. That's why they're cowardly. They gave in to a bunch of screechers from Twitter and places like Vice and Sportskeeda. These people do not deserve any respect or your time of day, but unfortunately for these developers, they did just that. They empowered them. They said, we're listening. Now, of course, this has backfired for Crime Boss. They've lost a ton of support. They probably just nuked their own game. And Kirsha's getting a ton of support from her fans, probably to a level she hasn't seen in her career, which is already a very successful one. But that's going to do this video, a little update on the situation from yesterday. As always,
and there's more. There's at least 2 more videos I could react to. There's at least 2 more videos I could react to about the situation. It is what it is. It is what it is. And not gonna lie, this will not stop. This will not stop. I mean, you got people supporting Kirsha that never even like interacted with her, like Tectone. It is what it is at this point. But if you need these people to make money, the good part is that this will never end, right? You will always find retards to make content on.